It's very unusual, yeah, but if they will decide that now it's dangerous for us, it's unusual in the past year. It happened more when the different groups in Syria used to fight very close to the border. But then we're talking about like very close to the border, and we used to get stray fire, spillover of artillery into Israel. And then every time they got the clearance, there were like sections that every time that I passed one, the army used to send a message, we saw you, meanwhile you can proceed. That was the procedure. So now they don't do it, but if something happens there and they close one of the sections and they bring forces, so then they will call me or send a message. Means that meanwhile most of the things are very quiet. I will explain about the threats, but it's not something that touch us. Meanwhile, hopefully it will stay like that. Regarding the defense line that we see here, so it works here. You can see, means we have cows on the right side. This is part of the grazing land of the kibbutz. In the same time, on the left, we have a minefield. See the yellow signs there?
Yes.
We see mines on most of the Golan. Means we have many landmines here. Most of them planted by the Syrians, pre-67, and probably past their expiration date. They probably won't be very active. The mines here are Israelis, which means active. Every several years we have the engineering corps get inside and make sure it still works. These are mostly anti-tanks landmines. They're set off by a weight of 450 pounds and mapped by GPS.
Oh, wow.
Besides landmines, you're going to find here also anti-tanks ditches, tanks positions, bunkers, and a border fence. The problem with the way that this defense line designed is the fact that armies attempt to prepare themselves for the next war according to the lessons of the last one. It's natural. Armies doing that. See partridges.
Oh, my
Goodness, partridges in a pear tree.
Oh, wow.
There they go. Look at that. Oh.
Partridges in their soil.
It's a nice bird, but not the smartest. Usually they just run in front of the jeep till they get on the trail. They get tired and then they remember how we can fly.
Oh,
So they can fly if they want.
wow.
That's so funny.
Oh, there's horses.
Oh, wow, yeah.
These are the cowboy horses. Yeah, means we prepare the next war according to the lessons of the last one. It happens, it's natural to say that this is the right thing to do. No, you need to prepare the next war by the intelligence that you get on the next war. And I think that today Israel doing that. Means the challenges changed, the threats changed, the enemy changed on the other side, the whole defense conception needed to change as a result of that. We're crossing here an anti-tank ditch. This is part of the old defense line. It's a ditch that in order to cross, you have to bridge first. Something that takes a while to do. Meanwhile, Air Force gets more efficient by creating traffic jams of tanks. The problem is that armies attempt to prepare themselves to a war that probably won't happen, since in the Yom Kippur War we had invasion of tanks. The Syrian army was big. We're talking about 280,000 soldiers in active service and 450,000 soldiers in reserve. Egyptian army, 880,000 soldiers in active service only. Means Israeli army, by the way, has 171,000 soldiers. That's it. So the Syrian army was much bigger than ours. We needed to prepare for invasion, and we thought that if they will do it, they will do it by tanks. Why? Because that's what they done in 1973. That's not the situation today. Means that I don't think that the Syrian army is a threat on Israel. And the reason is that they have left with 60,000 soldiers. That's the Syrian army. 60,000 soldiers. as a result of the civil war. 150,000 got killed. The rest mostly switched sides, joining the rebels. But in addition to the Syrian army, there are Shiite militias. And the Shiite militias, they're affiliated with Iran. And those are concerned us more than the army itself. Which means that today we're facing NGOs. We're facing non-governmental organizations. Hezbollah is not an army. They don't have tanks, they don't have air force, they don't have reserve. It's not an army. But they do have 150,000 missiles that can reach anywhere in Israel.
Wow.
And few of them specific structures. It can be a power station, it can be a military airport, it can be a shopping mall. And Hezbollah, it's not the only organization that's concerning us. We have also the Shiite militias in Syria, we have militias in Iraq, we have the Houthis in Yemen. Meanwhile, the Saudis pay the price, but it can be a concern for Israel if those guys will take over the Bab el-Mandab Straits and get long-range missiles from the Iranians. We're concerned from the Islamic Jihad in Gaza. There's a say in Arabic, Ana ila ahi, I'm against my brother. Ana wa ahi ila bin ammi, I'm and my brother against my uncle. Ana wa ahi wa bin ammi ila arib, I and my uncle and my brother against the foreigner.
Wow.
And we are the foreigner. We come from a different ideology. We have different mentality, different religion. We represent Western values. The only democracy in the Middle East means that Iran can kill hundreds of thousands of Syrians being Muslim Sunnis, but they can pay Islamic Jihad and arm the Islamic Jihad in Gaza, which are also Sunnis, to fight against us.
Wow.
And that's a situation that Israel have to remember, because it means that on the next war we're gonna have three fronts at least. It's gonna be a multiple front of Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza, and they can attack us together.
Wow.
Look at this little guy.
Yeah.
He is just.
Now they're all coming back there to the area of the stockage for the night. This is the lucky bull. Yeah. He has his friend here, but the rest are cows. We usually put one bull on every
Look at
50,
this.
60 cows.
This one really loves to run. You'd think it's a horse.
Look at that. Oh, how cute.
That is
Yeah,
cute.
cows can be fast when they're like.
Yes, I don't think I've ever seen a cow move so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Ever. Like,
You don't want to see a stampede.
So this is one problem. The fact that those guys, they all hate us. At least as they hate themselves, and sometimes even more. Besides that, there's another problem with having those non-governmental organizations instead of armies. They can switch from a mode of routine to a mode of a war in half a minute. We can't. It will take us between 24 to 36 hours to bring reservists to the border. To say that that's something that considers an advantage to them, for them, yeah. If we want to be ready with the forces that we have currently stationed along the border. That's something that Israel have to prepare for. It means to have the right forces, the relevant forces, for the threats that we might have. So up there, you're gonna find the special forces of infantry. You're gonna find their tanks, the Armored Corps armed by the Chariot Mark IV, the most advanced Israeli-made one. We have their missiles that have a camera on the head, controlled by a joystick, shooting range 25 miles, with an accuracy that you can get the missile into a very small window. Something very precise. Besides that, there's a new fence built with motion sensors, video cameras, intelligent drones, bomber drones, unmanned vehicles patrol along.
Wow.
So it's not about the anti-tank ditch anymore.
Huh.
The threats look very different.
Wow.
And that's the reservoir there where we started. They're digging now a new one. And you see that the new reservoir they covered
Wow.
by plastic.
Mhm.
And the reason is that there we're going to accumulate more of the geothermic water and going to filter the sulfur there. So we don't want nothing to trickle into the aquifer